We are the best police department in the country, and we're very proud of it.
If I can contribute, then I should. I never really lose it. When I go home, I'm still recruit Barney.
You're gonna feel different when you put that uniform on. We're all learning together. We're all starting from square one.
You're going through something over 26 weeks that is intense, that is challenging, that is life-altering. And the people that you share that with are the most important part of the experience.
We're back at the Charlotte Police Training Academy for Week 10, and with a strong foundation laid for what's to come, the recruits are now entering the more hands-on training at the Academy. But before they can put their lessons to practice, they'll have to learn the basics from the classroom.
Good morning, my name is Chrissy Pickert. I work here at the Academy, obviously, as the lead driving instructor. Before I came out here to the Academy, I worked in Freedom Division, west side of Charlotte, for 8.5 years on second shift. I was a PTO there. I absolutely loved patrol. That's why I stayed so long. And then this opportunity came up, and I enjoyed driving, and I enjoyed teaching recruits. So I've been out here for a little over 2 years now. And before, well, back, anybody from Gaston County? Anybody from Gaston County? Does anybody live there now? Yeah. 2. At least only 2 that's going to admit it. Usually I have to keep harassing people, and then a few hands will go up in the back, but nobody really wants to admit it. So I grew up in Gaston County and swore I would never come back to Charlotte. I was like, I don't want to come back here. I want to go someplace else. So I applied at police departments in Virginia, Highway Patrol, Raleigh, Greensboro, anywhere, and then here. And I just decided that whoever got back with me first is where I would go, and it was CMPD. So here I am. I've been on the department for almost 11 years.
So I have multiple roles. I'm a PT instructor. I do high ropes training. I help out with other blocks of instruction, but my main role is the lead driving instructor. So that entails anything driving related with the recruit classes. We do 12 hours in the classroom for classroom training, and then we go out onto the track where the recruits get an additional 40 hours of recruit driver training, where we go through cone courses and emergency response and pursuit driving.
So you just have to have an open mind, and you got to listen to instructors. Okay? It really is that simple.
It's a big class, so it's bigger than what we've been used to. A lot longer in the driver training too. We started the day after Christmas, and then we ended up doing training all the way through about February 12th, so the middle of February. So it was a long time, 4 different groups of instruction. They did very well.
You could go 30 years and never fire your weapon, right? A lot of people do. 30 years and never fire their service weapon. We drive a car every day, all right? So take this block seriously. We're gonna teach you everything you need to know in order to have the safe driving skills, okay?
Yeah, driving is the highest liability area in law enforcement. When you get out of the academy, 95% of our day as an officer is spent inside of the car. That is our office. We go call to call, we do our reports in there, so we eat our lunch in the car. I don't think that when people come into the academy that they realize that driving is such a high liability area, and why driving is one of the harder blocks of instruction, because of it's the thing that we do the most every day when we are out on patrol.
All right, occupant protection devices. What are some of those inside the car? Airbags. What else? Seatbelts. What else? Padded dash. Yes.
Safety glass.
What's that?
Safety glass.
Safety glass.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Door locks. What else? That might be everything. ABS. Yeah. What about the padded seats and the headrest? Somebody said padded dashes already. So those are all occupant protection devices. What's the most important? What's the primary one? Seatbelt. The only thing that keeps you in that car is that damn seatbelt. Wear it.
So we are divided as a class. This week we are doing a combination of shooting, scat, and driving. I think that covers everything, but we basically entered about the third week of those breakout sessions that we're doing by squad. The class overall, it's a combination of excitement to be out of the physical classroom and to be doing things, and also that general stress of, well, this is a graded, testable assignment. So it's not all fun and games, but there's there is that testing element to it. But overall, the class is really enjoying the more practical, hands-on lessons that we're doing. It's going really well for day one at least, and I don't see any change, negative change coming on days 2 or 3 or anything like that. So overall, really positive. The class has reached a point where we have kind of our core that I truly believe will graduate with the people that we have now. If the inevitable happens, then we'll do what we can to recover. But I truly believe at this point, barring something out of our control, I don't think we're going to see any more losses.
SCAT, or Subject Control Arrest Techniques, is no different. They'll soon hit the mat for the real deal, but they must sit through the PowerPoint instruction first.
All right, so this PowerPoint is a little bit out of date. It kind of looks like 1980s-ish, I get it. This is a very important block. SCAT is Subject Control and Arrest Techniques. The title is changing to Compliance and Control Tactics. And if you hear DT, that's just defensive tactics. They are all one and the same. The next recruit class will be CCT, but they are all the same block. If you haven't known by now, if you haven't watched enough YouTube videos, if you haven't paid attention to the news in general, period, in your whole life to this point, then you understand how important this stuff is in policing. My hope is you never have to use deadly force. That's my hope. But you will 100%, if you're an officer for longer than a month, put hands on somebody and they will fight you, they will resist you. Maybe not necessarily fight you, but they will resist you. That is a guarantee. Somebody will resist, right? So this is our response to their resistance. This is a high liability job. This is super important. I want you to be safe out there. I want you to go home safe every night. But I also want you to be able to articulate why you do something and have that knowledge in your head of, hey, this is why I did this. This is why I threw a hard empty hand strike. This is why I knee speared somebody's common peroneal. This is why I conducted an armbar takedown or a multiple officer takedown. And this is why. This is what I saw. This is what the person said. This is how big they were, all that stuff. And we're gonna slowly build y'all over the next couple weeks to have a better understanding of kind of the articulation, what everything means. Don't be intimidated by these techniques. Some of them have weird names. Look at the pressure points, for example. Hypoglossal, mandibular, and jugular. Kind of weird names, right? Weird scientific names for a bundle of nerves, which is a pressure point. But man, like I said, this is very important. Please pay attention. We are going to be hard on y'all. We're going to push you mentally and physically during your weeks of SCAT. I promise you, we will. And if you can't take that in here in a controlled environment with instructors who actually care about you, we do care about you. I hope you realize that by now. We do care about you. We want you to succeed. But if you can't take some negative comments, pushing you emotionally a little bit, pushing you physically, if you can't do it in here, what are you going to do out in the streets? You're going to let it get to you, and then you're going to get in trouble or worse, charged with something. So you need to have some thick skin for the next couple weeks. It's our job to push you mentally, physically, and emotionally, and increase your knowledge and let you have a solid understanding of this stuff. Is everybody good?
Yes, sir.
I promise you, it's not kind of the classroom time's over after today. So the rest of the time we'll be in the DT room, and you'll understand within the first 10 minutes kind of what the environment is.
Teach to the lowest skill level if that works, and then for the ones that the higher skill level, man, this is going to be a good refresher. Go over it, just go through some of the stuff. But again, even some of those that come in, take something like jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu on the mat and a gi is, we take aspects of that and apply it to policing, but it is different. It's not the same as what would happen if you got to control a suspect on the street and you got the duty gear on and things like that. So it is, even those that know what they're doing, it's looking at that light and they're like, it really helps them out too. So, and then the ones that have nothing, obviously we may have to spend a little more time with them to bring them up to speed, but that's what we do.
SCAT teaches the recruits how to handle making an arrest or controlling an arrestee. The The recruits are taught techniques that help in these situations and how they need to go about getting a suspect into custody in various situations.
To the next side now, right? And just do the base on this side. And the base on the other side. You scoot back. Stay in the base, okay? All right, let's get it. All the way down. We gotta work both sides. We gotta work both sides. Sprawl. Back up.
It's all being recorded, so make it look very
That one is done right now. But here's the other one. We're gonna go over the opposite shoulder too, right? We can't just go on one shoulder. So go back, up over both shoulders.
Look, guys, this and this is what touches the mat. If you go right over top of your head, it's not going to work so well for you. Take your time. Come on up. Have fun. Oh, yeah.
I'm watching, don't worry.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Huh?
Look at that.
Y'all hit that better than me.
Agility.
Tuck your head. Tuck your head.
There you go.
We get some recruits that come in and they've been training forever. So this is just kind of, taking that training and looking at it from the police side of things. And we get others that have never even been in an altercation on the playground as a kid. So this is definitely an eye-opening thing for them. So yeah, I get recruits from all ends of life coming in, different end of the spectrum. So yeah.
Where do I go from here? So you got it pinned in tight. Yeah.
Keep your elbows tight too.
Middle finger finds the knuckles.
He says that.
Yeah, just a little incentive to follow your commands.
Can you show me the difference? I think we were both done.
All you're concerned about is right at the elbow here and bringing it down. And if he's walking like this, cool, fine. I still want to be in the dominant position there. Does that make sense?
Again, it's a great bounce because, police officers, we should be calm, courteous, nice to everybody, but if it comes to a time when that's no longer working, you need to be able to flip the switch and go to the opposite end too. So I think it's obviously very important because again, too, I speak to the recruits, like there's several police officers, in fact, a majority that go through their whole career and they never have to shoot anybody or anything or even pull the trigger on their firearm. But going hands-on with people, getting into this altercation on the street, that's pretty much a guarantee that's going to happen because if you're doing your job and you're making arrest, people aren't always going to be cooperative, so that will happen. So you must have some sense of how able to deal with that.
Just looking back at where you started and where you are now, it's a little bit of a blessing to still be here. There's definitely some struggles. You come in with this kind of attitude of like, can't be that hard, right? Every little thing that we start, I'm now humble about everything. Whereas in the beginning, we're learning educational program. I went to college, I had a 4-year degree, all this good old stuff, getting ready to become a lawyer, thought I knew everything, right? Coming in with that and all the educational stuff at the beginning, just sitting in the classroom, you're learning about this, that, and third. And then, I think I was just telling them out there, it goes from knowing all the knowledgeable stuff into putting that into practicality, especially driving. Going into these things with a different mindset of, I don't know as much as I think I do, and then having to really kind of unlearn all the things that you think that you know, and then relearn all the things that the instructors tell you. So that's, the best piece of advice I could give anybody going into everything is, you don't know anything, let the instructors tell you everything. So that's kind of how my mindset has changed. And I see it in a lot of people. A lot of people have gone from like, hey, whatever, just gonna go in there and do it and get it over with, to now it's like, hey, this pertains to me going home at night. So it's like, when you look at it from that aspect of like, everything that I'm learning here is gonna decide whether I go home or whether I don't go home at the end of every shift. So it's more or less about, let's just get it done, get it over so I can get my badge and gun and get out there. Now it's more like, let me learn everything that I need to learn so that I'm not making stupid decisions when I get out there, or I can go home and go home safely.
Now the real fun starts. The City Vehicle Operations Center, or CVOC as it's often referred, may be cold, but the recruits are ready to put their driving to the test.
All right, vehicle inspections. Remember, you don't have to know it, be a car guru or anything. I'm going to teach you how to do the basics on the cars today. All right. So the first thing we're doing as we approach the car is that we're looking at the body damage. I know what these cars look like. I don't need to know that they're scrapes, or if you see a Caprice, it's duct taped together. Trust me, I know. So the body damage stuff is okay out here. Now, once you get out on the street, that does change. You would need to write it in the book and make sure your supervisor knows that there's damage. But out here, I don't need to know that there are scrapes, or bumpers are missing, or duct taped together. Good? We're also looking to make sure that the car is like just sitting level. If it's lopsided, it could be a tire could be flat or something's wrong with the suspension. So those are kind of things that we're looking for when we're approaching the car. Any kind of fluids underneath, that's something that we need to check and make sure is it oil or something else to be concerned about. All right, once we get here, we're going to open up the hood. This is the Ford Explorer. This is a police model. It's not something you can just go buy off the Ford lot. With these, this is the majority of our fleet. We have about 1,280 cars in our fleet. There's only 80 Caprices left, and they don't make the Chevy Caprices anymore. You can tell I only have 2 of them out here. So those are going away. So this is what the department has decided to buy, are all Explorers. So we're gonna open up the hood. Remember, all we're looking for the hoses, belts, wires, is we're just gonna take an overall look, make sure nothing's cracked, frayed, or broken. Okay, we don't need to go down there and touch anything. That's all we're looking for. Okay, same thing for the battery. We're just looking at making sure it's not corroded or anything. So as you're working with your classmate, we're going to check the horn. Remember, the horn's important because some of the courses, that's a point deduction if you don't blow a horn. So we want to make sure the horns work. Let's check the headlights. Headlights come on?
Yes, ma'am.
Left turn signal?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Right turn signal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, brake lights. Turn signal's working the back. There we go. All right, make sure those are important too, because again, those are point deductions if the instructor can't see the turn signal during some of the courses. So make sure they work in the front and the back.
That's your book of mine.
That's mine. 2 years tomorrow, get over it.
What do you got write your name?
Oh my. Gosh. This guy, man.
So it goes from the ABC stuff to now, hands-on. I need to know this, not only for my life, but for my buddy's life. And driving, nobody drives, no regular human being drives the way that we drive over there. No, it's not natural. You don't think, they're telling you to speed through a curve and all you're thinking of is, absolutely not, I'm gonna brake. But being able to drive like that with due regard is very important because, I think there was a statistic they had, just as many officers that are killed with firearms are also killed in collisions, vehicle collisions. It's about the same. So that's very big. That's a very big aspect. And it's one thing for me to show you a video and this is how you do this course, but it's another thing to get out there and have to do it and do it with due regard and under time. So it gets really real out there real fast.
Did anybody drive here in a straight line this morning? Complete straight line? No. So there's curves everywhere we go. Every time we're responding to a call for service or just routine driving to and from work, right? So this is going to teach you the proper way to negotiate a curve. It's going to show you a little bit of the wheel tracking and judging your vehicle's relationship to fixed objects. So how this is going to work is this is a pass or fail course. So you cannot touch any cones and you cannot drop below 25 miles per hour and you can't hit the brake once you cross into the first set of cones here and you're in the course. All right. So what it's going to look like, you'll start You're actually gonna start over by like Mosquito down over there. You're gonna turn, make this left, and from once you make that left to right here, you want to get up to, I would say 27 or 28 in the Explorer. Okay, once you see 27 or 28 on your speedometer, let off the gas, because that's going to let the car settle so that you have more steering when you go in the course, right? Because when you accelerate, where does the weight go?
Right side.
When you accelerate, where does the weight go?
To the back.
To the back. So what do you lose?
Traction.
Holy cow, steering, right? Okay, let's start thinking about this for a second. So if all the weight's in the back and we're trying to steer, we don't have as much steering control, right? So get up to 27, 28 miles per hour, let off the gas, let the car settle. Once your front bumper passes this set of cones, you cannot drop below what speed?
45.
Can you hit the brake?
No.
If you hit any cones, that's a failure for the course. All right? So you're gonna set up to the outside, walk with me.
Time to see what the recruits have. But first, they'll get to see how it's done.
Go ahead, Sergeant.
Yeah, and I'll make them hold it. So that they can feel it. Chirp, chirp, chirp. If I'm going in hot and you hit the brake right before, it preloads the car, sets all the weight forward, right? So you really need to concentrate on getting that car up to the right speed and letting that thing settle. All of these cars also have digital speedometers. So when you stomp your foot on the gas and you see that thing tick, tick, ticking up, it's going to jump, right? 21, 23, 25, 27. When you see it and you let off 27, it's going to bump to about 29 or 30. So if you get in it hard to get that car up to speed and you see that thing 24, 25, let off. It's going to settle at about 28. That's 81. If you wait to see 28, you're going to be going on about 31. It's going to be the ride of our lives.
Join us next Sunday to see the recruits get exposed to their tasers.